Trust is that priceless, yet fragile human condition that takes years and years to build. Now, Tatil has truly stood the test of time, being one of the first locally owned insurance companies in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and the first skyscraper building to be built in Trinidad, starting in 1972 and reaching its completion in 1974. For many years, many of us grew up watching television and seeing Tatil advertising and talking about Tatil people of people. That tagline, Celicia, you know what I mean, right? But it's good to see that Tatil is actually reaching out, and Celicia called me indicating that Tatil wants to do something to help this gentleman. Now, this gentleman, he has no insurance. He didn't have any building insurance, any content insurance. But by now, I know that he will understand the importance of insurance. Celicia?
Yes, that video was very heartbreaking. Tatil definitely wants to do something to help the gentleman.
Yes. But you know something, sometimes not until a disaster strikes that we understand how serious it is, that we need to have certain things in place. One of them being building insurance in terms of the structure. But a lot of persons may say, well, I have building insurance, but then the content insurance is missing.
Yes.
And sometimes when we begin to add room by room, you made me do it, huh? I went room by room, start adding the costs to replace my items if something like that should happen to me. And the cost, it was exorbitant. It's nothing that I can afford to replace out of pocket. So then I asked myself, I say, you know what, I'm going to call back Celicia. I am going to follow up on this and ask how should one go about having content insurance.
Right. So Tatil provides both home show and rent show insurance. Home show insurance could cover building as well as building and content.
Yes.
So it'll be insured for your building as well as the contents, general content, electronics, any jewelry that you may have. And we also have rent show insurance, which if you don't actually have a home, you can have renter's insurance. So you just insure the contents that you own.
And that is very considerate because a lot of persons may not own their own home.
Exactly.
But a disaster can happen. I mean, we don't pray for perils, but one can happen. Are we prepared?
Exactly.
So now in case of a renter, the homeowner may have the insurance and benefit from the insurance. But how about the person that is actually renting? Exactly. So now you are saying that a person that is renting can have content insurance as well.
Yes. Especially for flood victims, we notice that when there's a disaster or something like that happens, they may have building insurance only and no content insurance. And a lot of content is destroyed when there's a flood. Furniture, fixtures, electronics, things like that. A lot of our clients, they may not have content insurance and they suffer when there's a flood. So it's very important.
And you know, Trinidad and our drainage.
Exactly.
So the possibility exists that sometimes, like I covered an area in Central that they have never experienced flood in how many years, and out of the blue in I think it was 2018 or 2019, there was a massive flood and many persons would have lost some of their valuable contents. So this is all well. Celicia, do you think there's enough public sensational reporting or even advertising for us to know that this is available? I think it's a great initiative that Tatil has embarked upon, using the disaster, using an adversity and creating diversity, meaning to say that you're now giving information to others because today it was him. Tomorrow it can be someone else. Tomorrow it can be you who is watching that screen right now who may not have insurance. So now what Tatil is saying is that even if you're renting, there's no reason not to have insurance. You're renting your home, they can provide insurance for your contents. You're willing to give counseling. So I walked through Tatil building and I saw actually a mode of apparatus and how you all operate. And sometimes hearing about something and seeing something firsthand brings a different level of attachment to an entity. I have been attached to an entity because of a tagline. But now seeing that you all live up to this tagline, it was really comforting to see that it's not just advertising, because there are so many insurance companies in Trinidad and Tobago. I think I was disgusted with insurance at one point in time. I think I used to say that is another gimmick, is another scheme, but really seeing that an entity could put customer first, an entity that could actually be desirous in helping others, it was truly refreshing, Celicia.
Thank you.
So let's go from there. So a viewer that is watching you right now, that wants to have content insurance, what is the next step?
Well, both home shore or rent shore insurance, all that they will need to do is to visit our website, tatil.co.tt. There are proposal forms that can be filled out on the website and submitted to Tatil, and we can take it from there.
So, Alicia, what about public liability? Because I know you were explaining to me earlier that there are other things that this coverage will consist of. So could you enlighten a little more?
Sure. There's some additional benefits on the homeowners policies. We have public liability as well as employer's liability. Public liability means that if somebody comes into your home and say trips and there's any kind of liability against the insured, we will cover up to $250,000. And also if you have a domestic worker and there's some accident that happens in the home, we have a coverage up to $100,000.
Let me walk this through. So I'm going from a layman watching you on television, trying to understand what you have just said. You were saying that if I should have, just say I have a helper at home, and something should happen to that helper while she's working in my house,
yes,
then the insurance would also cover her?
Yes, up to limits, but yes, it would be covered.
Okay, and that would mean that you would not have to dip into your pocket to cover the cost, because the cost did happen, this accident did happen at
yes,
your home, on your premises, so you may be liable to a certain extent. So what you're saying basically is that you have a ceiling of $250,000, is it that?
For workers, it'll be $100,000, and for public visitors coming into your home, it'll be $250,000. Yes.
Yeah. So, Alicia, the $1 million question that everybody may be asking. Now, I would have said earlier that Tatil, what separates Tatil from any other insurance company would be its longevity.
Exactly.
It stood the test of time. We know that Tatil started even before our republic, of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Since its inception, I would say, as one of the first locally owned insurance companies.
Yes.
Now, that in itself brings some comfort, because you know that this is not a fly-by-night company. This is a reputable company. And now in 2004, with ANSA taking over now, adding another new dynamism in the whole equation of insurance, what would you say really separates Tatil from any other insurance provider in Trinidad and Tobago?
I think Tatil staff really cares about our clients. In the event of a claim, we want to know that they're satisfied, that they are taken care of. So I think we genuinely have, we really are where people are people.
Yeah. So she left me speechless, because I was hoping that she would not have said is the building, is our length of time in business. But really and truly, I made a video earlier on talking about customer service in Trinidad and Tobago, that it needs to improve. Now, hearing someone in managerial position say that what separates us from other entities or other, I wouldn't say you will have competition, because there's no competition with Tatil and other insurance providers.
No.
But what separates us from the others is that we really do care.
Yes, we do.
And it's comforting to hear, Alicia. It's really comforting. And I do hope that other companies who are watching this interview right now would understand that without people, there is no business. So it is time for us to be people-focused. And maybe, I know Tatil can help them out and give them a few cues and a few tidbits to understand that people are people. Meaning to say that when you put people first and people-oriented business, then half of the job is done there.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah? So, now I'm still thinking about how much my contents are worth. So, Alicia, I thank you.
Thank you very much.